Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. We're on the way to Boca Raton again, to the Miami, South Florida area. Seems to be a lot of problems down there, and basically people, hurricane season's coming, rainy season's coming, and people are scared. And though I try my best to, keep people calm and things like that, if you've never been in a hurricane, you really don't understand how much stress there really is. Hurricanes can last anywhere from a few hours to several days, and when water starts to rise and the wind's blowing and your house might be taken away, there's a lot of stress. So I do understand, and we're going to go down there and give a couple of estimates today. It's a long drive for us to come from Orlando down to Miami, not to mention the tolls. We're on the turnpike. It costs nearly $20 just to drive down there, $20 to come back, plus fuel and time. But I really like helping people, and I know that these people, first of all, they'll be great jobs, but I know that they need help, and that's really what I'm in business to do. So anyways, the point of this video is really about comments. I am trying to answer a few of the comments there that I get. The most common question that I get is, how deep do you dig? And the answer to that question is, you dig as deep as you need to dig, or as deep as you can. In other words, every job is different, and depending on where you're going to discharge that water, remember, if you've got gravity and you're going out to the street, well, you can't be deeper than the street. So wherever you start, it could be 8 inches, could be 2 feet. It's pretty impossible to answer that question, but the answer would be, you need to dig as deep as you can. And if you're going to a sump basin, well, the sump basin's 2 feet deep, so that gives you plenty of fall to get down into the basin, and the pump lifts it up and sends it out. My suggestion is, if you're working in a crawl space, they ask, how deep is my footer? Take a shovel down there and find out. How would I know how deep your footer is? There is no average. There is, every place is different. And I don't mean to be belligerent about that, but there's no way I could answer that question. And then the second most common question is, which way do the holes point on perforated pipe? Perforated pipe, people call it a French drain. It collects subsurface water. So as the groundwater rises, water enters into the gravel and then into the pipe and is carried away. So common sense would tell you that holes point down. I've made a video to show you how well that works. It's up there somewhere. But water basically floods from the bottom of the trench, whether it comes from the top, rainfall comes down, it hits groundwater and it starts to come up. So if you put the holes at the bottom of the trench, it will enter the pipe faster. You can put them at the top, it will still work. It just works a little slower and maybe holds a little bit more water. But holes should point down into the gravel. So I hope that helps. And again, thank you for all the comments and all the views. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'm returning the favor of telling you guys what needs to be done. I think the biggest thing that you should remember is that, excuse me, I have to pass a car here, a real slow poke here on the turnpike. But the biggest thing that you should remember is that, yes, this can be done yourself, and I have done thousands of jobs all by myself. I do have a great crew, and my crew works really hard, so we're able to complete a job usually in one day, no matter what it is. Of course, there's bigger jobs, but for the most part, we can finish a job in one day. Doing it by yourself, especially when you're not sure of things, take your time, plan to spend the weekend working, because it's a lot of labor. And you may get that trench dug in a few hours and even get the pipe laid, but putting it all back together is where you're really going to feel the energy and the muscles and all of the things that you really are kind of worried about. Is, can you do this? Yes, you can. I promise that you can. And just believe you can, and you'll get it done. And then finally, the final question I have for you guys is, recently, I have to tell the story. Recently, I bought my first smart TV. Can you believe it? 2018. I know. I've got internet, all this stuff, website. Excuse me. But I bought my first smart TV, and of course went to YouTube to check out the channels, not just mine but everybody's. And I'm wondering, questions, could use some feedback. Would you guys like to see more of before the job? In other words, when we get materials, would you like to see some of the sights and scenes? Remember, we are in Florida and we do travel. The beaches are beautiful, so are the parks. When we go out of town, sometimes we actually camp in state parks here in Florida. By far one of the greatest, not the greatest perhaps, but one of the greatest state park systems in our country. We also have the second largest national forest, only second to Yosemite, and that's called the Ocala National Forest. Beautiful place. There's a lot to see here, and I would be happy to show it if you guys would like to see it. And the reason I'm saying this is because on YouTube, when I put together, or when I looked at the smart TV and other channels, wow! I mean, this is huge. It's a 50-inch screen. I've never had one of those before. It kind of makes you go, wow! But it looks to me like YouTube would really like to see that occur, as well as maybe the content being more geared for like movies and more home entertainment. I really like my DIYs because I try to get the information out, directly of how to do this. I think it was a long time ago that someone said, "Get to the point," and it stuck in my head. It was one of the comments. Get to the point. Let's just show what needs to be done. There's a lot of other companies out there and videos, and they're all great videos. I think everybody does a great job, and they definitely talk too much, just like I am now. But that's the question: is would you guys like to see more content? Again, Florida has a lot to see. I'm not talking about the attractions, Disney World and Epcot and those kind of things. You can come see those at any time. Fly to Orlando for $150, almost anywhere in the country. Get a hotel room for a week for a couple hundred. Prepare to spend that much just to get into Disney World. But anyways, there is a lot to see here, and I would be happy to show it. Let me know. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.